All right, everyone, welcome back into another preseason NFL DFS video. Going to be touching on the top plays here for this Sunday 2-game slate. Let's go ahead and get into it. And so on this 2-game slate, we are getting one game that's a little bit more appealing in terms of the point spread. I mean, it's 3 points, but we do know that that is something that tends to add up. Obviously, 3 points is always something we want to be chasing a little bit more so. So looking at, guys, the Rams Cowboys game, that game is going to be lower scoring, and that really comes down to really one thing, and that's going to be the quarterback position, which I will say sounds weird to say with the Denver Broncos quarterback room. We'll break it down for you guys. So let's start out with the easy and obvious one. Stetson Bennett, he's going to be someone that's going to play a lot in this preseason like he did last preseason. The nice thing about Sean McVay is that he typically does not play his starters. Anyone that's going to be a season-long contributor is not really going to play. And maybe there is a good rookie that stands out that then gets shut down for the rest of the preseason. That was Puka Nacua. Just kind of want to bring that up. That could occur, but for the most part, he is very much going to protect his starters. So Stetson Bennett is going to be someone that's going to be playing extensively. Now, they did pick up Dressler Wynn as well. We're not expecting much out of him. It's going to be the Stetson Bennett show like it was last preseason. But after that, we also have another kind of interesting quarterback room with the Dallas Cowboys. Trey Lance is someone that could and probably will play about 3 quarters in this game. They're going to either want to get him up to kind of NFL caliber, if you will, or get him like a trade target is pretty much what they're going to try to do. The question is, which one do we play? I will say Trey Lance does have a little bit of rushing upside. So even if Stetson Bennett even plays the full game, I could see Trey Lance potentially outscoring him, just given his ability to rush the football with his legs. Now, some people are going to ask about the Denver Broncos quarterback room as well. Jarrett Stidham is going to be starting in this game, and then Bo Nix is going to be starting in the next game. They're both going to play a decent amount. I wonder if that means Zach Wilson's going to be playing in the third game as the starter. We don't know. It's a guessing game here as well. I don't really want to mess around with that too much, and it's a little bit worrisome. They're probably all going to play a third of the game. So again, rather just take the playing time there. From there, the Colts, I don't have a good indication of what's going to happen. I would imagine Sam Ehlinger is going to be the quarterback that gets the most playing time. But again, we just don't need to mess around with this on that slate when we do have a quarterback or 2 quarterbacks that are going to play a plethora of the snaps. So from there, let's go ahead and get into the running back room here. And again, we're going to go team by team. Denver is going to be a team I think we are going to see a decent amount of players get some run. The player I like a little bit is going to be Blake Watson. He has just started practicing for them. He's kind of a fun undrafted rookie free agent. Someone that did pop, but obviously they did draft Audric Estime, who is someone that Sean Payton I think just kind of clearly likes. And so he is someone that I think will get a decent amount of a workload, kind of like we saw last year in the preseason with Jaleel McLaughlin, who just got a ton of work last preseason. I kind of expect that to be Audric this one in this preseason. So he's going to be the player I'm probably targeting out of that team the most running back wise. And then shifting into the Colts, this is certainly another kind of interesting spot that we have because Trey Sermon does seem to have locked in the RB2 role in there. At the same time, there is kind of a battle going on between Tyler Goodson and Evan Hall for kind of the third down back role, if you will. Now, I've always liked Tyler Goodson whenever he's gone on the field besides a play to beat the Houston Texans. He's always looked good. That drop, if you guys remember, ended the season there for the Colts. But he is someone I think is a good player. He played well for the Packers in the past in the preseason. Has done pretty well for the Colts as well, so I don't mind him. Obviously, Evan Hall is going to be someone we're looking at a little bit there as well. For Dallas, not too much here. I do want to get some updates on the injuries here as well, but we could be looking at a lot of Malik Davis, and he's probably going to get a heavy workload here as well. And then looking at the other backs that they have there, Snoop Connor, kind of been there, done that. He had a little bit of hype when he was with Jacksonville, but I don't think we're going to fall for that again. You got kind of a fullback listed here as well, so they might be just down to Malik Davis having a ton of workload in this one. And I don't think Rigo Dottle is going to get a lot of work in this game simply because he is, I think, the RB1, 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it. But this is going to be a spot where we probably are going to have to play maybe 2 Dallas Cowboy running backs. At the same time, the LA Rams are kind of a sneaky good spot. So I don't think we're expecting much of Kyren Williams. And this will be very telling for the LA Rams of maybe who we should be drafting. I've kind of been saying for a little bit that Ronnie Rivers might actually end up being the RB2 here. Maybe not while Kyren Williams is healthy, but if Kyren Williams were getting injured, I think we could see Sean McVay actually roll with Ronnie Rivers as the RB2. That's what happened last year as well. We also saw last year that instead of going to someone like Zach Evans, they actually turned to Darrell Henderson, who wasn't even on the roster. That is a trend that Sean McVay tends to do. But for the preseason here, if we get news that Blake Corum is out, that's going to tell us that Sean McVay loves Blake Corum, and then he's going to be a regular season contributor. That being said, if all four of them play, it does become a guessing game here. I think Zach Evans is the safest one to get a lot of work and to get out of kind of the preseason as well. But if we get news that Ronnie Rivers is indeed playing, that's huge, guys. I don't like to use the lock word, but I probably would be playing a ton of him. And then from there, we do get into the receiver room. Now, this is going to be much more difficult, I will say. It feels like much more of a guessing game, unfortunately, right? Obviously, we want to stack with Stetson Bennett. And again, this is a spot where I think come closer to lineup lock, we'll know that Denard Robinson and probably Tutu Atwell are not going to be active. And so we're just going to be loading up on Whittington here. He's going to be someone we go with. Tyler Johnson is someone that is a good-ish receiver, if you will. He can get open. I think we're going to look at him. He's someone that did produce in the preseason last year and has produced in the NFL. Xavier Smith is someone that's been getting some hype out of camp. He's probably the one I want to roll with the most right now. But it wouldn't be surprising if any of these other Drake Stoops popped up. And really, guys, down here on this part of the depth chart, it's really kind of the battle to replace Ben Skoranek. You guys will see what I mean. But Drake Stoops is probably the one I would want to roll with the most there. Again, that's mostly if we were trying to stack with Stetson Bennett. Going into the Dallas receiving crew here, two players have been getting a decent amount of hype out of camp that are more backups that you would expect to play. Jalen Cropper, a little bit so, but Billy Johnson has been someone that's getting a decent amount of hype out of camp. But this truly feels like a guessing game, especially if we're playing Trey Lance for his upside to rush the football. That really does, and really with Dallas and their running back game as well, that doesn't really get me excited to play the pass catchers for Dallas. So again, if we're looking at a lot of Trey Lance and a lot of the rushing game there, I'm probably not wanting to target the Dallas receivers anyways. Obviously, if you're doing 150 lineups or even 20 lineups, you might want to mix and match in some Dallas Cowboys receivers, but that's really, I don't think, a great move for this slate, just as based off the information that we have right now. Now, Alec Pierce is someone that's kind of battling for a starting position. He is someone that has started for the Colts a long time, but his stats have never been great. Apparently, he's having the best camp that he's had thus far in his career, for what that's worth. Maybe just need a little bit of competition, but he is someone that could get an extended playing time in this game. But if he doesn't, then again, it just becomes more of a guessing game. Tyree Cleveland is someone that has popped up in the past in the preseason as someone that can make plays. Same thing with Juwan Winfrey. I do like Juwan Winfrey as a talent. He was with the Green Bay Packers for a little bit, always kind of produced during the preseason as well. Looking at Denver, one player that has actually made a couple of fun plays in camp, and I'll show you guys one. All right, so here's the play. It's just a nice one-handed grab here in the back of the end zone. I mean, that's just a pretty sweet and fun catch there. But again, we just don't know the exact playing time for this group because they go kind of deep, and I don't even think Sean Payton really knows who's going to play a lot or step up a lot. Obviously, you have Troy Franklin there. It makes sense for him to get some work. I think we'll get a really good indication of how he truly feels about someone like Marvin Mims Jr. as well. He is obviously a really dynamic player, but he didn't play all that much last year. Brennan Johnson's still there. I mean, he's not garbage. But I think Devon there is going to be the one we want to go with the most. And so it is kind of still open, but we're getting the roster filled out a little bit here. It is, guys, real quickly. To me, this is probably the ugliest slate that we have had because, well, we are picking between two quarterbacks that seem fairly obvious that probably will be chalk. And we're probably going to have 3 to 4 running backs that we need to go with. And then it's just a guessing game at receiver. And I think that's going to be the case again with tight end. Now, tight end wise, I do think we're probably going to go with a stacking opportunity with Stetson Bennett here. Davis Allen or Hunter Long. Apparently, Hunter Long is the tight end number 3 currently, so it makes sense for him to get a little bit more work in this game. Again, Sean McVay does not like to play his season contributors. Kobe Parkinson is going to be the starter until Tyler Higbee gets active. And just what a crazy story, right? Tyler Higbee signed a contract extension, and then I think it was weeks later, gets a season-ending injury that drastically would have changed the outcome for him in a contract like that. So kind of good on him for that. But Hunter Long is going to be someone I think we want to be targeting there. Other tight ends that we could target. Steffens Jr. has been having a good camp. He's someone I think we can get to if we're looking to stack Trey Young. Maybe we could do that instead. Target a tight end instead of a receiver. From there, I don't see much with Indy. I guess it's pretty wide open as to who's really the tight end 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So I don't really want to mess with that. And then Denver as well. Lucas Kroll is someone that has been getting a little bit of hype out of camp. He's been playing pretty well. Maybe we roll with him. But again, this slate just seems like a big guessing game. And obviously, I think the best move would probably go with the Rams defense here, just because it is a low scoring game. But at the same time, they're probably not going to play much of their starters. You could go with the Colts. Some of their starters are going to play going against Denver and their backup quarterbacks. I don't hate that, but then we'd be targeting the higher scoring game. That's where it gets interesting here. But that's going to be all for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first real week of preseason NFL DFS coverage. If you did, make sure to give a like on this video. I do appreciate that. If you guys want access to any of the 9to5sports.com tools, we got fantasy golf, prop tools, preseason NFL DFS lineup builder for you guys. Check it out. Available all on 9to5sports.com for $10 a month. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.